If Dead Space had cut off their limbs, then Cronos The New Dawn has Don't Let Them Merge. And I played the first 2 hours of Bloober Team's upcoming survival horror game, and I had a really good time. I played from the beginning of Cronos The New Dawn, and I will say the vibes at the very beginning of the game, super, super strong. So it really jumps straight into the sci-fi. You are awakened, you're this traveler, and you're basically immediately questioned, and it's kind of like that bit in Blade Runner 2049 where he's answering those fast-paced questions and it's cells interlinked. It's kind of that moment, but it's you speaking to this nameless voice. And your immediate task is to find your predecessor who has stopped responding, died. You just gotta find him. Unfortunately, between you and your predecessor are creatures of some kind. They are known as Orphans. They are necromorph adjacent, I would say. There are these grotesque humanoid structures. And I think the really cool thing about them, like I said, Dead Space, you cut off their limbs to stop them. In this one, you can use your weapons to take them out. There's a melee, there's a stomp. However, you gotta burn the bodies, because if you don't, they kind of get covered in these tendrils. And if another one comes along, they use their tendrils and join together, and then by their powers combined, they're a problem. So you can have one that maybe spits acid at you. You take that one out. It's a pretty scrawny guy. And then another one who might have armor comes along, sucks them all up, and now you've got an armored, ranged, acid-spitting guy. And then what happens if you kill that, but you don't take care of the body? Well, another one could come along and suck that guy up, and then you've got an even bigger problem. So there's not only resource management, and resources are scarce. You have to do a lot of crafting. You have to go through every room and collect as many chemicals, as many things as possible to make sure that you are well stocked. There is real enemy management, because later on in the game, you will get the power to set things on fire. However, that resource is even rarer. So it's like the older Resident Evil games where you have to decide, is it worth me killing an enemy, standing right next to it, waiting for another one to come along and try and get two birds with one stone, or is it worth saving it in case I get cornered and I need to use it as a last-ditch attempt to escape? It's thrilling. I had just such a good time. Like I said, the vibes from the very beginning, excellent. I really enjoy survival horror. I really, really enjoyed this one. So walking through this kind of derelict apartment building in town in Krakow, or like close by to Krakow, it's just like everything. The music was kind of industrial, electronic, and hey, if you know anything about me, you know that's my jam. The weight of the character of the traveler, the fact that she had such a flat affect to her voice, like she's just there to get the job done. There's no emotion behind it, but I kind of loved that detachment, because it's just, you know, really feeding into the fact that, hey, the world has really gone to shit. You just gotta get your job done.
It can be used to manipulate the oddities.
And then all of the sci-fi, so your weapons that you have, well actually not Dead Space, Resident Evil-ass safe rooms. But Dead Space similar in terms of upgrading your equipment. Like you get cores and that's how you upgrade your suit. And then the other thing that I really liked was the bizarre sci-fi. So on top of just sci-fi horror, there are these things called anomalies. And so using your weapons, I think it is, you can manipulate elements of the level to go back to what it would have been like pre the event. So there might be some collapsed rubble somewhere, and what you do is you hone in on this orb and you can basically reshape the level a little bit. That's not everywhere, and it's just in certain parts of the level, but it kind of makes a traversal a lot more exciting. There were these really great set pieces, like at the very beginning, one of the areas that you are in is essentially a clothes factory, but very much stuck in the past clothes factory. And the game is a really great thing where the color palette is black, white, gray, and the color that is bringing you forward, that you are honing in towards, is red. And so there were all these like really spooky red lights in the background, and because you're in this clothing factory, there are a lot of mannequins. And so every mannequin was casting this really creepy shadow And then they would, like, you could just tell the game designers were having a lot of fun with it because there were these moments where the tension was building, and then your flashlight would go off and you'd be like, oh, something's coming, something. They're just really masterful control of suspense, at least in those opening couple hours. I did a couple boss fights, like I said, with those guys. When they merge, you get a real problem. And I will also say that checkpointing, I would make sure to save every time you see a save point, because it will just kind of kick you back. But at the same time, I felt like it wasn't too difficult, and I felt like I knew what I'd done wrong, and I felt empowered to go back into things. I had such a good time. I think you can probably tell by the way I'm talking so effusively about this game. I'm really excited to play more of it. It's going to be about 16 hours, which is, I think, a good length for survival horror. It doesn't kind of outstay its welcome. I think if you wanted to do everything, they said you could, spend a little bit more time in there.
Did you see the cat? Did you see
Oh,
the cat?
the cats!
There's a cat. There's cats. Everyone's so excited about
Okay.
the cats.
That reminded me. Yes, there are cats. So the cats in the game, cats survived the event.
Damn right.
And if you find one in the environment and you pet it, it will give you like a little health pack or something. But all of the cats in the game are based on the team's real life cats. I love. So it's coming out fall 2025. They didn't give us an exact date, but hey, it's already summer, so it's not too far away. For more on Cronos: The New Dawn, stay tuned to GameSpot.